Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. So today we're looking at your future spouse and we want to know who this person is. What makes them tick? How do they think? How do they feel? How do they act? What are their values? Their personal circumstances? Their family history? What's shaped them to be the person that they are today? And what do they look like? More importantly, when are you going to meet this person? Is it tomorrow? Next month, next year? What's the timeline between now and then, and how will you meet? So lots to get through, and before we get started, if you would like to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon while you're there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can, and if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, before you on the screen, we've got 4 different piles of cards, and the idea is to choose a pile that resonates with you really clearly. And once you've made that choice, that will be your reading. Perfectly fine to choose more than one pile if it comes through really strongly. And just remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. We've got pile 1. Pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Taking a moment to be with the cards, listening to your inner voice, your intuition, the energy of the cards. Which of these piles comes through for you the strongest? Is it pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, or pile 4? So down below, there are 4 different timestamps representing each of the different piles. If you would like to go to the one that you've chosen, I'll see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 1. This is your reading, and today we're looking at your future spouse, your life partner, the person who you will be committed with. And I get a sense with this particular person, this is happening over the next year for me in terms of a forecast. I felt within a year you've actually been introduced to this particular person. I don't feel like you've met this person yet. And I felt that this would be an introduction through friends. I felt that you'd be meeting them at like a dinner party or something. It kind of felt small scale, like intimate with a few friends, an introduction's being made. And I felt at first this person didn't really make that much of an impact. It's not to say that they weren't attractive, but I don't feel like you've kind of met each other in a way where it's sort of love at first sight, put it that way. It's a slow burn. And I feel that over a period of months that you are reintroduced to this person in a way where then a bond has been formed, and it's slowly but surely you're getting to know them in a much more sort of intimate way. And I say intimate, I don't necessarily mean sexual. I just mean that, it's like, yeah, I'm familiar with you. I can see a lot of potential in you. And it kind of just starts to kick off after 3 to 6 months. I felt that this person had a lot of impact in terms of who it was that they were on a professional level. I felt they're very professionally minded, very, very motivated person who is really capable, like a born leader on one level when it comes to the workplace. This is somebody who hits the ground running when they're in a professional environment. There's something quite unusual about them in terms of their character. I think they're charismatic to some degree. I think, especially with work, I think they put a lot into the work that they do. They kind of move and shake on a level that is very progressive and very modern and very transformative. I feel like this could be like an eco-warrior type of person. Somebody who's working in corporate, but is there to transform the nature of how things roll in corporate, bringing awareness to business and to process in a way that really works towards sustainability. Yeah. This could be somebody who's really trying to transform corporate globalism. I kind of feel they've got a big picture view in terms of their outlook. They're looking to achieve big things in the workplace, and they're looking to go straight to the top. In some ways, I kind of feel that this person is at the top of their game when you meet them. They're in a really important role. So this is somebody who is making good money, and who is kind of working on a level that is high capacity, high turnout, high volume, but also very progressive in the way that they see how things can roll in the world of business and professionalism, in terms of like a corporate global outreach. I feel this is somebody who really needs that kind of engagement. They've got a really driven force, and they really need to be challenged in a way where they're just there doing it for the sake of doing it because they love doing it. They got a lot of energy, very hard to keep up with on that level. And I think, is this the type of person who on the weekend, after working, huge amounts of hours through the week in a very high pressure job, goes out on a hike, for the full day, or, bike rides, 100 miles type of thing. And this is somebody who has a lot of energy, and they're very physical with that energy as well. I felt this person was really fit, very, I would have said buff, really, really, really into their physical fitness. It's really important for them to keep engaged on that level of just, keeping in touch with their body, keeping themselves at a prime. So really, a really attractive person in terms of their, I get a physical peak that comes through here. So this is somebody who's really in their prime at that level. And this is an explorer type, so they're really pushing the boundaries, professionally, but they're also pushing the boundaries in terms of going out and doing things like hiking or reaching physical fitness to a really premium prime level. There's a really strong sexual identity that comes through with this person as well. I think that this is somebody who is really explorative in bed and has a really, really sort of high sort of, I guess, thirst. I'm going to say thirst. What's the word that you'd use there? Yeah, like a really, a really strong appetite sexually. So I kind of felt sex was really important to this person. I don't mean it in a sort of dominating, overbearing way. I kind of feel this person is very healthy in their outlook on the world. They're very positively engaged in life in a way where they're really looking towards sustainability and to transform the world for all of the right reasons. And it kind of translates back into relationships as well. I feel like this is somebody who, you can have a really good conversation with, a very honest conversation with about anything in terms of relationship issues. And it sort of translates also into that sexual dynamic as well. I feel as if somebody who's just very honest and also quite obvious about what they want at that kind of intimate level. And that's really healthy. I get a healthiness that comes through on all of these levels. So I kind of feel that this is a really sexually dynamic relationship where you have a lot in common as far as being really into each other. But definitely this is somebody who is into sustainability. Yeah. They've got this real beef about exploitation of the world and also leaving people and environment in a way that wreaks devastation. So they feel the kings are really, they're at the top of the order in terms of responsibility. This is a person who really feels a responsibility, not only to their work, but a responsibility to community, society, and even the global community. It just in terms of the imprint that is being made for the desire for money and greed and profitability and the impact that actually has on other people. So this is somebody who has a conscience, right? And they understand the whole idea of what cause and effect is about. What is really interesting about this is because I kind of feel that this translates in a very beautiful way to their relationship with you, because I kind of get this sense that you as a person are very intuitive, very, very sensitive. I think that there's a really high creative output as far as, you're obviously a very talented individual. I feel like this person will come to you at a time that was actually really difficult in your life. I think you're having a lot of letdowns with people in a way where you feel you've lost faith in what people are like, and you've suffered some torment with some relationships. Like, maybe this can go back for some of you. It could go back into your history. Like this sense of feeling that people are perpetually trying to sort of undermine you in some way, maybe, or the relationships can get very toxic in a way where they become very unhealthy. And I kind of feel that this is an issue. And this person kind of comes in a way where they're actually really protective of that dynamic, of your sensitivity, and of people who are, in unfortunate situations at the sort of persecution of others, So this person's a real defender of anybody who is vulnerable. And, it translates into the relationship with you in a very beautiful way, because I kind of feel like this person is somebody who will ring fence you in a way where they'll be very defensive of anybody who takes a pop at you. So if anybody has a go at you, if anybody tries to undermine you, if anybody negatively focuses on you, they will protect you, they will rally to the cause as well. They will get everybody on board in a way to push whoever or whatever it is that's going on back in a way that gives you healthy breathing space, lets you know that you're supported. So very protective, and will tear anybody apart who tries to undermine you in any way whatsoever. But yeah, coming back up here to the Tower and King of Pentacles, I kind of felt that this person was a bit of a rebel with the cause, as opposed to without a cause. They know what they want to do. They're kind of a bit of a Robin Hood in some ways. They really want to bring stability and security to people who have been, either left downtrodden as a consequence of exploitation, or to the system at large that exploits people in terms of corporate globalism. They're in there trying to make the change, trying to make a difference, and they've got a lot of energy, and they're very engaged to make that difference, because they see the potential to make the change. They want to be a part of that power dynamic that makes a real difference in life. So this is a really good person, right? This is an honest person, which I think this is the thing for you. It's really going to be very important for you, because you actually deep-heartedly are extremely sensitive and very honest, and that is actually really important, because this person will see your talent. They see how sensitive you are. They see how talented you are. They see how precarious your world can be in a way that life can be a bit difficult for you, because I think that it's not that you're fragile and weak, because you're not, but at the same time you need stability and continuity in order for your true talent to take hold and to fully flourish. And this person is such a strong support of that. And the thing is that they will really support your creative talent, your intuitive nature, your sensitivity, right? They'll see all of that, and they don't really have that within themselves. And so they really behold that in a way where they just put it on a pedestal. They'll certainly put you on a pedestal, and they'll want to be very protective of you, but they'll trust you to the core. And I think that's what's really quite poetic about this is somebody who will actually make you, make you not a cause. That would be a little bit weird. It's really, it's about your truth. This person's going to believe in you, and they'll listen. And because of that, they'll listen to you. So they'll really trust what you say, and they'll listen to what it is that you say. So you'll have a very strong influence on this person. And they will listen to you. I think that the thing is that what I really take from what I'm seeing here is that this is somebody who's going to not only reinforce your path, which you may be very sensitive to unfolding in a way where you maybe either you don't believe in yourself fully, or you're too sensitive to or too hesitant to unfold it. They'll see what you can do, and they'll be really encouraging you to be the full you, to actually unfold your true talent in a way where you Yeah, you reach your own greatest potential, because this is what this person is doing. They're living up to their greatest potential. So why wouldn't they want you to be living up to yours? And I think that's where you might be a bit hesitant yourself. I really felt that traveling abroad together was going to be a big feature between the two of you over here at Lovers and Three of Wands. You know, there's even a potential that you could be working with each other at a later point, but this adventure nature in this person is very strong. And when the two of you come together, I feel that this kind of doubles it up in a way where the both of you see the potential in really getting out into the world. So it's all about new horizons and breaking down barriers, which translates once again into what this person's true nature is about, which is about breaking down the barriers that really are stopping the world from unfolding in a more truthful, sustainable, equal, fair way. And I think that the two of you, when you come together, you kind of move into a mutual dynamic that really sort of harnesses like a very passionate view on what is possible in the world. And a part of what that means is to get out there and experience new opportunities. And it could be very much around either their work or the both of you working together to get out into life and really see new. It's not just about seeing new horizons. I felt that there was a real strong possibility of actually relocating, of living in new places. So that could be geographically within your country. But I kind of felt that there was the potential for that to really go global and get out there and to sort of be in the world in a way where you're experiencing different cultures, different, very, very, very dynamic. But for me, the primary focus of that would be through work. You know, this person is conventional on one level, because they're kind of climbing up through, a tiered ladder system that really takes them up to the top level of professional output and challenge, and they have that capacity to do that because they're so driven and capable. It's not to say that they're not going to be looking for money either. This is somebody who wants to make a lot of money. I feel that this is somebody who has a family history that was really unsupportive, and as a consequence they've really focused on security. So money is really important to this person, and I think that this is the kind of person that wants to save for a rainy day. They want to have something to fall back on, and they also want to have a really nice life because, they feel that they work very hard. They feel that the opportunity is there to have a good life, but they want to do that sustainably, and they want to do that with a conscience. Yeah. What I felt about this person, just as some sort of snapshots was, very uninhibited. If they see an opportunity, they're actually really going to go for it, and nothing will hold them back. So I kind of feel this is somebody who seizes, anything that comes their way that can help them to get ahead, in a very kind of holistic and whole way. It's like, yeah, that adds up at a really kind of important level in line with their values in terms of sustainability, and so everything that they stand for on that level, if it adds up, they're in there, they're going for it. There's nothing that's going to kind of hold them back. The one thing I say could be a little bit negative about this person at times, and you've got to take the good with the bad, is that they possibly can be a little bit proud, and that they might dig their heels in a way where they'll ignore what's going on. But at the same time, that kind of fits in line with somebody who's very strong and capable and very sure about what it is that they want. So I think that you would have to take a very sort of loving and very tender approach, because if you try and counteract that with like a strong stance yourself, you're going to get somebody who's going to react to that and dig in even deeper. So you really need to just be yourself here, and I kind of feel that you are a very sensitive, creative person who gets in at a heartfelt level. And when you appeal at a heartfelt nature to a person like this, they'll be like, it'll be like, butter melting in your mouth type of thing. So, I felt the other thing that was also, this is somebody who really likes to be at the reins. So they always want to be in control, pushing to the next level. because they're very motivated and they have that energy. And I think the only thing I would say there is just to be careful not to allow this person to sort of override you in a way where, you know, you feel too delicate to stand up to them and what it is that they want. You know, this is a very strong, capable, dynamic individual, and there does need to be some counterbalance there. And I think that that's why you'll get along really well, because you have the softer approach that really kind of quells that energy in a way where they get a bit more sort of perspective. Otherwise, it's all sort of very hard and fast and quite full on at times. Look, I hope this has made some sense to you. And if it has, please feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my services as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card 2. This is your reading and we are looking at your future spouse. So exciting stuff. Life partner, who's it going to be? I'm up here at the Fool and Ace of Cups, and I felt that this was going to be a random introduction. You don't know this person, somebody introduces you to a friend of theirs or an acquaintance of theirs. Probably more like an acquaintance actually. I didn't feel like there was a strong connection to the other person. And I think this is a really strong, striking impression on you in terms of how they look. They're not like anybody else that you've seen. Very positive, warm energy that comes across. There's a very spiritual vibe about them. I don't know that it's about how they're dressed. There's just something about them that emanates something that, you know, in the back of your mind, you go, wow, that actually is really different, unusual. And then at the same time, they also, you know, when you go to talk to them, it's like, there's a bit of a disconnect there. They're not really kind of linking into you in a way where you sort of, where it validates a connection for you. So you're attracted to them. There's a really sort of, you know, striking first impression, you know, with this introduction. But then when you actually try to explore a conversation with them, it kind of goes nowhere. You know, they're putting lots of, you know, brick walls in front of you in a way. Not in a kind of, it's not that they're blocking you. It's just that they're not kind of, you know, expanding on anything, and they're not making it easy for you to get to know who it is that they are. So a bit of a hit and miss first introduction. And I felt that over time, you know, you would be reintroduced to this person a few more times, and then you'd get to know who it is that they are. And then what you would discover is that this is somebody who is quite sensitive and genuine, and they are very spiritual. But because they are so sensitive, they're just not really sort of confident in social situations. They're a bit more one-to-one. And once you get to know that person more intimately through, you know, subsequent meets, then you really sort of open up into this experience of finding out who it is that they are. Now, this is a very independent person, very independently minded, very intuitive. I get somebody who's very sensitive, very intuitive, very spiritual. The spirituality seems to be a really big driving force in this person. You know, this is somebody who doesn't really conform into the norms. You know, they're not gonna be doing a regular 9-to-5 job. They're not going to hold those kind of traditional values that are very conservative and anchor into society in a way that carves out a life that's really about sort of like, you know, marrying and settling down and having 2.4 children and a house and a car. That's not this person. I felt that this was somebody who was very artistic, and specifically in, you know, maybe fine arts, you know, maybe painting, maybe crafting things that are very, yeah, just a very aesthetically refined and very beautiful. This is somebody who has an outlet. I felt that this is somebody who was practicing art and I felt that they could actually be doing quite well out of that. They knew themselves as an artist. I think it's actually very much about their identification with who it is that they are. But this isn't some dreamer who tries to carve out a living peddling art. I felt that this was also somebody who had a professional focus, who was working in a field that was possibly like something like marketing. You know, I felt that this person tapped into the creative sort of vibe of a population, for example, and really understood what drove people, you know, collectively and independently. They tapped the mood. They tapped what it was that people wanted in a way that was maybe a little bit ahead of the game, a bit of a trendsetter. You know, this is somebody who could sell a dream, is what I'm saying. You know, so they could be involved with marketing things for things like sales or, you know, commercials or, but it could be anything. You know, it could be branding stuff, or creating, you know, like a line of something. You know, as far as a concept was concerned, you know, to sell to people. You know, this was somebody who thought really big, had big ideas, knew how to sell the dream, understood what it was that people wanted, was ahead of the game. And, you know, so in that sense, I kind of felt that they were a bit of a trailblazer, and that they were in there doing really big things in terms of, you know, the free market. So this is somebody who is kind of, you know, working randomly for people. I kind of felt that they were their own person. This is somebody who doesn't want to kind of settle down into a 9-to-5, Monday to Friday job. I felt that this was somebody who kind of, you know, took their work with them, and, you know, they could sort of like, you know, work from their computer, and they could be anywhere doing anything. Is this somebody who could actually travel around in a van, or, you know, travel around the country or travel around the world, and, you know, wherever they were kind of like nomadic in the sense that they, you know, if they had the digital access, they were working and they could sort of just make it up as they went along. So I felt there was and what's really important about that is freedom. You know, the Fool, it's a card that wants freedom. It doesn't want to be defined by anybody else or anything else. It just wants to go with the flow. So this is somebody who is very creatively inspired, who doesn't want to be held back, who wants to do things their own way. And they're driven by instinct, you know, instinctive reaction, but also instinctive emotion. You know, the Ace of Cups is a seed of emotion that's also very spiritually based. You know, so the two cards together, the Fool and the Ace of Cups, you know, very high spiritual resonance here, but also a very articulate understanding of what spirituality is to this particular person. You know, so it's very personal to them, but it's also very important to them. I felt that this was somebody, once they get to know you, they wear their heart on their sleeve. It's like, this is how I feel about you. There's a real honesty there that comes through in a way that, you know, just professes, you know, how they really feel. I felt that they were very different to other people, you know. They had a very unique perspective about life. They wanted to lead a different life. They didn't want to sort of, you know, again, didn't want to be conformed. But this is somebody who, for me, right, who wants to escape the rat race. They don't want to be caught up or bogged down in having to commute to work, or to have to be a slave to feel that, you know, they're supposed to do all of these things that everybody else is doing. They want genuine freedom. They want to be able to kind of just pick up and go whenever they want. So I felt that when you met this person, that both of you were going through a really difficult time in your lives, right? I felt in some ways it was almost like a sort of like, you know, there were two independent crises going on for the both of you. I wonder whether actually that had a lot to do with the very personal nature of feeling like you were never going to meet somebody that actually was right for you. You know, you can have relationships with people, but it doesn't mean that they're always going to be that sort of soulmate connection. And I felt for the two of you that this actually was very much about what this was really about. You know, there is a very strong connection here with each other that really balances each other out quite immediately. And I felt that as soon as you did kind of strike this bond into balance, you know, the relationship just really levels out in a way where you come out of this sense of anxiety, of fear, of worry that you're not going to meet. So it's like I found the one. It's like I found the person who balances me out in a way where that fear is taken away. Like I actually, it's kind of like like a glove and a hand. The fit is just really beautiful in a way where you just feel like you've found home. I don't want that to sound corny, because I genuinely feel that with this particular reading. I felt that this person had very healing qualities about who it was that they were as a person. I think they're very gentle with people. Are very sensitive to other people's needs, because they are very sensitive as an individual. And I think that they genuinely try to help people when they see that somebody is in need of some sort of assistance. And, this is somebody who would see a beggar on the street and not just give money to them, but also, ask them how they're doing. Like, are you okay? Do you need help? They kind of see that there is problems there for people, and that not everybody has that kind of capacity to be able to right themselves. And so they actually are there for people. They're there for friends, they'd be there for you, but they'll also be there for people who need somebody to be there for them. Very genuine. So this is somebody who helps people. There's a real healer in this character. Yeah. And if I come back to what I was talking to you about before, with the kind of work that they do and the vision that they have, it is that they are a visionary. It's like they're really thinking ahead, because they don't have that restriction that actually narrows things down into kind of a known quantity. This is somebody who's really thinking ahead of the game. And, like most people would walk past somebody on the street, or where like a beggar, for example, and just kind of either walk past it or just think that they have to maybe, give some money to make themselves feel better. Whereas this person's thinking ahead of that. They're kind of like, hang on a second, this isn't right. Something's not right here. Are you okay? So a lot of very lovely healing energy. I felt that this person really dreamed of a better life. They're in search or on a quest to find something, like a life that gives them everything that they want, because I think, you've got to dream big. You've really got to go for it, in that sense that if you don't, you won't get it. So you've got to make it happen. This person I felt down here with Justice and the Seven of Swords. I love these two cards. There's something really, they're very cautious about authority, right? They have a bit of a thing about the law, and I think it comes back down to this thing of not wanting to conform, but also just kind of questioning, like, hang on a second, rules were made to be broken in a way. And so I think they like to bend the rules, and they also like to test the limits. So so they'll push people and they'll push you. And they'll kind of, want you to question it with them in a way where you think, hang on a second, just because it's a rule, just because it's a law, it doesn't mean that it's just, and it doesn't mean that it's fair. And sometimes you've got to skirt around things to get where you want to be, or to do what it is that you want to do. So I think this is a very resourceful person that actually thinks outside the box. And I felt with them that they were really not afraid to get their hands dirty. You know what I mean? Like, so they sort of pitch in and help out where, this is somebody who will actually go to a soup kitchen and actually get involved in the kitchen and do the dishes and hand out sort of meals to people who need them. I felt that this was somebody who, if you were working with them on a job, they're not just there to sort of say what needs to be done. They're there to actually do the job. They're doing the business, they're not afraid to work hard and to get in there and pitch in a way where, they muck in, basically. I kind of like that. I felt that this was somebody who also really fought for change for the better. Especially the thing about rules and bending rules and questioning, authority, questioning the law, and this thing about justice and wanting things to be fair and wanting them to be just. I think this is somebody who fights for freedom from a system that actually oppresses people or restricts them in ways that doesn't let them just be their free, full selves. And this person is free. This person is fully expressive of who it is that they want to be in terms of the way they act out their life or live their life. they're looking for bigger and better things, and they are very spiritually based in the way that they're actually driving themselves to find that. Because again, a very honest, genuine individual that comes through here. And I kind of felt, once again, they weren't afraid to muck in, get dirty, and to try and make these things happen. So is that idealistic? I don't know that it's idealistic. I think this is actually a bit of a mover and shaker on that level. I think this is somebody who's prepared to, to put their money where their mouth is, and to make real change, but also to be a part of that change. Yeah. Over here to the Sun and the Two of Cups, I felt this relationship was one where you would really see eye to eye. There's a very happy, cohesive relationship going on here that's very comfortable, and there's a lot of intimacy here between the both of you. This, for me, is an enduring relationship. This is a relationship that will not only last the distance of time. I felt that there was already a connection here that was very soul-based. It's a soulmate connection for me. And I felt that this was an enduring relationship that would last through this lifetime, but it was a repeating thing. It's like you've found each other again, you'll find each other again if you ever lose each other. Yeah. I think that there's a really important focus on kids for some of you here. So I felt for this person that they liked kids. They really loved kids. They loved working with kids. They loved being around kids. I felt that for a lot of you, this is somebody who's going to want to have kids straight up. And that they would be very straightforward about that. They would be on the level. It's like, you know what? I want to settle down and I want to have kids, but I also want to have kids in a very kind of organic way that fits into our lifestyle. They don't want children to define the relationship. They want the relationship to be first and foremost, and the children fit around the relationship. Yeah. So the connection with the two of you will always be central to everything that it is that you do. It's like you found each other. Your lives revolve around each other in a way where you're very happy, and you don't need kids to kind of support that. Actually, kids are a complement to who it is that both of you are going to be. Very genuine, very loving, very happy relationship. I don't get fighting that goes on here. I get an enduring relationship. I get very close. I feel that you'll be best friends, right? It's like, in some ways, for me, this relationship, it's a soulmate connection, but also it's like you don't need a lot of other things going on in your world. When you find each other, you actually find happiness within each other in a way that it almost kind of validates a lot of what you're both about. Yes, you are also individuals within your own right. I think that's important. But as far as finding a spouse is concerned, this is a winner. Now, up here to the Hierophant and the Ace of Wands, I felt that you'd meet each other, you'd get to know each other very quickly within a couple of months. You're both kind of going through a bit of an anxiety crisis because you're thinking, oh my God, this feels amazing. This is the person that I really want to be, but this is moving really, really quickly. But you know what? I felt that within, say, a year to 18 months, that you would actually be making a formal commitment. Now, for many of you, that would actually be marriage. The Hierophant, it's a card of formal, I guess, well, it's a card of the church, so it certainly represents marriage, but it's about formality and, binding agreements. So, like if it's not a formal ceremony, it's definitely about tying the knot in a way where you actually really commit to each other in terms of longevity, going that next level and moving in together, becoming de facto, designing a life that is based around the idea of both of you actually being as one. So I felt that this would be a very fast-tracked process where you'd all of a sudden be at this point of feeling, very inspired to make that commitment. And, so a kind of like a quick process from meeting this person to making a formal commitment. Pillars of Strength comes up really strongly for me. I just feel that the two of you coming together, it's a really strong, solid relationship that fits really nicely. And also when you make that formal commitment, I kind of felt there would be a lot of creative inspiration that would come through with the both of you. It's kind of like you're rubbing off on each other in a way where things feel very right in terms of their purpose and in terms of the relationship. And it inspires a lot of creativity between the both of you. Listen, I hope this really made some sense. If it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card 3. This is your reading, and today we are looking at your future spouse. And we've got some cards on the table and we're ready to jump on in. Now, I felt like you've already met this person. I felt that this is somebody who you had an instantaneous attraction to. It's kind of a bit love at first sight on some levels for me. Definitely been drawn into each other in terms of the attraction stakes, and it's kind of gone deep very quickly in terms of just identifying with this person at a level where you think there's this potential to unfold something that could be really connected. However, I feel that this other person isn't able to meet you at that level at this particular point in time. I kind of feel back over here to the Tower and Knight of Cups. I felt that this person was probably already in a relationship with somebody. However, the relationship is either at the brink or, on the rocks, or they're actually in the middle of a bust up with somebody. And they're over this person. They're not into them in a way where they're in love with them in any sense of the word. I kind of feel this has been a very tumultuous relationship for this person. They've had a really rocky time of it, and they've just kind of gotten to a point where they're sort of like, I just want to be done with it. I want to move on. And I actually want to find love. I want to be with somebody. It's a real priority for them. Their focus is primarily at this point in time in their world about settling down in a relationship. I feel like they've actually had a really rough road in this past relationship. I feel like this could be a repeating experience for them in a way where they've just kind of fine-tuned what it is that they really want out of a commitment. And, so they've kind of risen up through this experience in a way that's really shown them the light to kind of find a relationship that's about commitment and love. And so I kind of feel that that's where things are at the moment, that this person, that they're actually on the brink of some kind of a bust up in terms of a relationship. Do you know what? Even if it wasn't a relationship, I kind of feel like they've had this scenario playing out previously, and that's kind of where their sensitivity is. And they're definitely in a difficult time in their world just at the moment. I think they've got a lot going on, but they've seen you, and I kind of think that they've kind of made their intentions known to you in a way where you've been very receptive to it. I feel this is a really easygoing character. I really like their personality, just very soothing in terms of their approach. Very, very kind of connected on a social level. I think they're very good with people, very popular, very well-liked person, very soothing in terms of a personality. There's something quite receptive about them. This is a person who actually listens. They actually stop and hear what you have to say, but they take it in and they identify with what's going on for you at a real sort of deep level. I don't want to seem sort of heavy and sort of, too kind of, deep and meaningful, but, there's just something, really easygoing, very natural about them. And I kind of feel this is somebody who soothes situations, difficult circumstances or difficult experiences for other people. This is somebody who's there and listens. This is a really good friend, actually. And this is probably why they're so popular. They're there when you need them. If the chips are down, if things get tough, this is somebody who you can talk to and have a bit of a chat with about what's going on. And they're listening, and they're also feeding back to you in a way where they offer you something to work with. So, a good friend, and a good lover as well. I feel that this person, in terms of their sexuality, is kind of like, just really very intimate, like really into being close. They're not afraid to get close. It's an emotionally available person who is not afraid to explore the depth of feeling. And also they're really articulate about what's going on at a feeling level. So quite intelligent on that level and very refreshing. I kind of want to say metrosexual. I mean, it's a bit of an old term now, like it's been around for a while, but this is definitely somebody who I feel is very well turned out. They look good. They're kind of, sort of in terms of fashion and kind of, they've got their finger on the pulse, and they're a little bit sort of on the edge there in terms of like just kind of really turning themselves out in a way where they look aesthetically really good. They look after themselves. And, they're very in touch with their feelings, and they're very social. This is a very social person. I felt that this person had a lot of friends. They knew a lot of people. And, when you go out or when you're walking down the street, this is, they're bumping into people and saying hello. They have a good rapport with people. I felt this person was, possibly in business. And if they were in business, they could be in hospitality. I kind of felt that they held the room in terms of an atmosphere, maybe a restaurant or a bar or some kind of sort of, or maybe this is even like, doing, I should think of the word here. What's the word that I'm looking for? Maybe even doing, like functions. I kind of just felt that this person really sort of dictated the atmosphere in a way where they were sort of looking to make sure that everybody else had a good time. And I felt that this person was somebody who wanted to explore that, in their social world, having people over for dinner and, cooking up a really nice meal. They weren't afraid to get involved and to be into the kitchen and to think ahead in terms of a menu, or to make sure that there was a nice bottle of wine, or, mixing drinks and handing those out in a way where, they're kind of just wanting everybody else to have a really good time. They really like to see people enjoying themselves. They like to, instigate a mood that is really social and reciprocal in terms of like, just being very having a lot of fun. This is a fun person to be with without excess. There is something a little bit refined here at the same time. I kind of feel like this is somebody who knows a good glass of wine, who likes a really decent, meal at a nice restaurant, knows how to cook something that's just above and beyond the kind of, meat and 2 veg, or 3 veg or whatever it is that you have, if that was what you had. So I felt also there was, there's also a real crisis manager here. This is somebody who does listen. So they also could be like a therapist, a counselor, or they could be involved in some kind of conflict resolution, crisis management. This is somebody who really knows how to kind of smooth things out, bring things back into balance. Now, I felt that this relationship was going to move very, very quickly into like it's a 6-month period for me. It's like you've met each other and then boom, 6 months. It's like there is like this really serious commitment going on. And I felt this person would actually propose to you. And I felt that they would actually do that in a really romantic way. There's a romantic here without a doubt. The Knight of Cups, definitely a card of thoughtfulness in terms of feeling. And they're looking for romance, but they're also looking for the next level of romance. And, for me, Judgment is a card that sort of says, look, hey, the gravity is there. It's like, where's this all going? Let's have a look at this. We're really into each other. We feel this instantaneous attraction in a way where we're very drawn to each other. There's a real spiritual connection here that has I'm going to go there. It has a soulmate kind of feeling for me. It's like we really get each other. We're really into each other. I know it's only been 6 months, but let's just do it. And it's kind of, I feel this is somebody who would actually get on their knee and propose, or, just do make some sort of really romantic gesture in terms of maybe putting a wedding ring into a glass of champagne, or something really kind of, maybe a bit cheesy on one level, but at the same time, being in the moment, being authentic and really saying, you mean the world to me. Let's do it. Let's tie the knot or make the commitment and actually go next level. And I felt that was really interesting, because I think you will actually get a lot of people around you who will feel this is too much. I think you'll actually cop a lot of flack for it. There'll be people on the sidelines going, what are you guys thinking? What are you doing? Where are you going with this? This is crazy. You've only known each other for a short amount of time. This is really serious. Are you out of your minds? Give it some more time. But I don't think that you'll actually have the time to sort of listen to what people are saying, because this experience to be something that's very authentic and heartfelt between the two of you. So I kind of feel that within 6 months, definitely kind of going there in terms of a proposal. very heartfelt connection here. And also logical on another level, because it's like, okay, if this is how we feel, then we should just take it to the next level. This is somebody who is, as I say, is always there for people. You know, they wouldn't mess you about on that level. They wouldn't do something unless they were genuinely looking to go into that experience from the heart. I felt that this, for many of you, that this would be somebody who was looking for a future to have children. Yeah. High Priestess is definitely a card of the future, and the Six of Cups is a card, it's a very strong card of children. It's about children for the future. And I kind of felt that that was something that for many of you, this person would be really kind of like, so saying, yeah, that's really what I want. At the same time, I also feel that there was there's a lot of mystery in these two cards. And I felt that this person really didn't like, mistrust or games. They just had no tolerance for that. They weren't a game player. They don't like to indulge in that kind of activity. I think one problem there could be that they have very high expectations of people. They avoid those experiences that become very negative. They really don't like drama. Drama for them is just like a waste of energy, and that it sucks too much from the emotion. And because they've got that calming influence, they kind of flip that experience into something that they try to make into a constructive outcome. So they're very positive in that respect. But if you go there and you start to indulge yourself in a way where you just, really run circles around yourself, or you're trying to run circles around them or other people, they'll have no time to indulge you. So I kind of feel that, once again, this sort of points to me that this is a person who hates that kind of uncertainty. They want a clear future. They don't want to play games. And they expect people to be upfront and honest just as they are. So they want that to be very reciprocal. And also they don't like superficiality. Both of these cards have a superficial nature. Judgment. This is like, gravity. This is serious stuff. We're getting to the heart of matters. This is somebody who is real, who is authentic, who is there for you to be a friend, a lover, to be intimate, to get close, and to help you be who it is that you want to be, and to meet you at a level where they can help you, but it has to be genuine. So if you're gonna mess them about, they won't have any time for that. I felt that this person really liked travel, and once again, the social nature comes up here really strongly. I felt that when you come together, it's like they want to share those experiences in a way where you go out on adventures. And yeah, so I kind of feel that the two of you coming together, it is joining forces. Temperance and the Two of Cups. Both of these cards are very beautiful in terms of reciprocal balance, but they also tie in at a very deep emotional level, and they are reflective of spirituality and, for me, once again, a very soulmate connection. I feel the sexuality is going to be really important. It's a very refreshing sexuality, because for me it's about intimacy and closeness and tying an emotion into the physicality of your experience. There's a lot of healing that goes on here between the two of you. I'll be honest with you, I felt that this person actually had some difficult circumstances that were going on for them when you met them, or currently at the moment. But I felt that they are also victim of that in terms of their long-term past. And they've learned how to deal with that in a way where they're very attuned to understanding, other people's difficult experiences. So they've got a lot of empathy for people on that particular level. So they are healing, but not so much so that it becomes too heavy. I kind of feel like their way of healing people is just to soothe them. It's not to necessarily indulge you and to go down into it. Although, they definitely do have that capacity to be like a therapist. So I'm kind of contradicting myself there a little bit. I kind of think it's a little bit of both, yeah? This is somebody who could professionally do it, but I kind of feel socially, more wanting to have a good time, to be friendly, to keep things positive, not to go into the experience too much in the way it gets too heavy. But at the same time, there is gravity there, so they can actually go there. Look, I felt that, this is somebody who wants to settle down into family life. I think that this is what makes them really happy. This is a family-orientated person. And you're going to have to look at that from lots of different types of angles, because not everybody's going to want to have kids. I felt that that could mean, for them, happy family could be about, drawing in a sense of community. It's about the chosen family. So the friends that you want to have close to you, having nice times in terms of food and drink and dinners and, or it's about drawing in your own families, your peripheral family, so your family, and their family, and so I kind of feel that family makes them very happy. But at the same time, for some of you, this is definitely somebody who wants to have kids, to settle down, and to have a family. I think they're happiest when everybody around them is happy. Yeah, that's really, really lovely, actually. I think that they're very inclusive of people. This is somebody who draws everybody in. They want everybody to come close. They want to kind of connect in. They want to there's a nurturing quality here that really takes them into this immersive experience of having family around you. So some very lovely stuff here. Emotionally available and reliable. So, it doesn't matter how difficult the experiences are going on in your life. This is somebody who is there and they will always be there and you can turn to them. Lots of intimacy. They're not afraid of it. Articulate about their feelings, about their process, able to actually communicate that in a way that actually makes you, a part of the experience. So very intelligent on that level, and somebody who really does, gets to the heart of matters. They don't want to mess about on that level. They really want to make sure that there is purpose in relationships, that everything's on track, and they have a lot of care around, maintaining the connections that they have with people. I felt that kids were definitely on the cards for many of you. Travel is definitely there. I feel that coming together, this is actually going to be a very forceful, very powerful relationship that has a lot of healing in it, but also a very deep closeness that will actually draw you in at a level that you've never been to before. Hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, please feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of info about me and what it is that I do. So have a look at that, and thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 4. This is your reading, and today we're looking at your future spouse, your life partner. So this is ultimately a very important relationship that's coming your way. Now, I felt that this is somebody who is already under your nose. Maybe you've already clocked this person. I feel that there is a rapport of some sort there already. I felt that this person was very preoccupied at this time in a way where they had a lot going on in their life and that they weren't really able to sort of see beyond that in a way where they'd clocked you to perhaps take things forward. I wondered whether you had been very invested in this person yourself for some time. For some of you, this might be the case, whether the heart was pounding and that you felt the pangs of love already for this person. For me, this is somebody who is, it's definitely somebody who is in your life. This person is incredibly capable. I feel this is a very strong individual who has definite boundaries, very intelligent. I get a very street smart person, somebody who's quite savvy. They really know what's going on at a core level. It's like they have these instincts that just figure things out, and they're really ahead of the game in terms of mapping out in their mind what's going on. I did feel, look, I don't want this to sort of ring an alarm bell, because for me this is not a cause for concern, but I felt that this person had a pretty tough past. I felt that this person possibly had grown up in a household where there was abandonment. I get a strong sense of rejection from their past, from their childhood. This could be somebody who has grown up as an orphan or in a foster family. There's just a real sense of isolation, and this person has come up hard. They've done it really tough. They've done it on their own, And from that point of view, I think they've had to face some very hard truths about life, which has really forced them to grow up very quickly at a very young age. So I get a person who is mature beyond years. I feel this person has a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom, has seen a lot in their life. And, maybe that could be an older person, but or it could be that this person has just had a lot of experience and it's forced them to be older than they really are. I felt that they were either from a background where they were estranged from their family or where they didn't have any family. I feel that this person didn't have support as they were growing up. I also feel that this person has had a lot of bullying or abuse in their life. And it really toughened them up. It forced them to stand up to people in a way where they had to really, look after themselves. And so in that context, I kind of feel like this is a survivor. This is somebody who's like a fighter, a survivor. And when I say fighter, I don't want you to think that they're actually going to sort of, take, hands or fists and kind of, start punching people out. But I just, they know how to look after themselves. They know that the world can be a difficult and challenging place. They know that people can let them down, and they know that people can actually have a really nasty side. And as a consequence, they've become very sensitive to that with other people. And I feel that in that context, they really look out for other people, and so they'll really look out for you. This is a very protective person. This is a person who thinks about both sides of the coin, about the things that can go right, but also about the things that can go wrong. And so they're always kind of looking out for you and for your family in a way where they're kind of on guard, at the ready to jump into protection mode. And I don't necessarily feel that that's a negative thing. I think it's just who it is that they are. So it shows a carefulness and a caring side. I felt that this person had really used these experiences in a very transformative way. So it didn't define this person in terms of the negative experience. Actually, what defined them was the fact that they had risen up through these experiences and really given them the capacity to be able to put themselves in another person's shoes. So they're very sensitive about the negativity that's inflicted onto other people, and there's a very compassionate view as a consequence. And so once again, they really look out in a protective way. They're very much about looking after the underdog, for the one that is getting a tough time, who doesn't have support, who doesn't maybe have the skill set or the know-how to really stand up on their own 2 feet. So I get a very protective person. This is a very charitable person. This is somebody who really does think not only about other people, but actually acts upon it in a way where they're very giving to other people. I feel that this is somebody who will be giving their time, their effort, and even putting their money where their mouth is in terms of looking after people. So this is somebody who's quite charitable. I felt that this was somebody who would go to a food bank and do a day's work, or go to a soup kitchen and, hand out meals, or put money into some kind of charitable cause in a way where they really believed in it and wanted to make a difference. So it's not somebody who's just sort of thinking about it and talking about it, or just kind of slipping a bit of money in the post. This is somebody who's actively engaged in the community. They have a really strong sense of responsibility. I mean, the King of Swords here is, very high on the order in terms of, thinking about the big picture, knowing that they need to be very productive in terms of making things right, because negativity can come your way and you need to look out for the underdog. Always looking out for those that are downtrodden, very sensitive to that because they've had that experience themselves. Wanting to make society healthy, wanting to kind of, in some ways, this is a bit of a crusader, actually. This is somebody who has a cause. They know the changes that they want to make to society. They want to help people on that particular level. And in all honesty, I kind of feel that there is a wounded healer here in a very positive and beautiful, and maybe even a poetic way. Deep soul searching has gone into this experience. I think it's spiritualized this person in a way where they've risen up through some adversity. They're very street smart, very savvy, very quick to respond to what's going on in their environment because they've had to really keep on their heels to survive, to stay on top. And that has been a big process for them because it's actually also called in a lot of healing for them to really figure out what it is that happened and to make some resolutions in a way where they can actually find peace within themselves. I felt that this was, like a very successful person at the same time. I felt that they worked for themselves. The magician is somebody who strikes things into action, but the magician is also his own person. He initiates action and really makes things happen, brings things into manifestation. And I felt this person was very focused on security. Money is a really big thing for them. And I felt that they were very, very intelligent in a way where they were very good with money, really good at managing money, very good at brokering deals as well. I wondered whether this was a financial broker. Definitely somebody who's focused on finance, but it's not, that's not who that person is in isolation. It's just one aspect. And I think this person has a lot of different skills and experiences, kind of a bit of a jack of all trades, but kind of at a much more elevated level. I feel that this is somebody who has got a lot of different things going on all at the same time. It's all out on the table with this person. They've got different things that they're cobbling together, but they're really making something of it. This is a self-made person. They work for themselves. They make deals. They broker deals. They focus on finances, but they also focus on making a difference. I mean, the magician is communing with spirit. There's purpose in the magician. This person isn't just doing it for the sake of doing it. They're making money for security, but they're also making money to help other people. And they're putting spirit into what it is that they're doing. Their heart and their soul is going into this focus in a way where there is absolute purpose. Very beautiful. And you can see that even more so down here with the Hermit and the King of Cups. Really elevated once again, King of Cups high on the order of emotion, of love, of compassion, of feeling. This is somebody who really is very mature at an emotional level and very mature at an intellectual level. But the Hermit, this is all about deep spiritual experience, drawing very deeply to give to other people in a very caring, loving, compassionate way. There's a lot of healing energy coming through with this particular person. You see that again here with Temperance, which is a healing card, and the fact that this person just gives so much. I feel that, you will be somebody that they will put onto a pedestal. They will have so much love for you and they'll be very protective of you as an individual. I feel that this is somebody that you have either been longing for in your life, or it's somebody who you've seen for a long time, who you already know. I think that's going to be the case for a lot of you people. And it's almost like you're just waiting for this person to make the move. I feel that there's a year to go before this person is ready to take things forward. And once that happens, it will be it'll be full throttle. I think you'll go straight to the top in terms of evolving this relationship. And I get a very spiritual bond here. I think you've got a lot in common together. Very balanced relationship, very natural flow in terms of, giving to each other. I feel that you're a force to be reckoned with as a couple. I kind of feel that you'll be doing a lot of good work to help other people, to make things right for other people, that you'll both be drawing very deep in terms of experience, but you'll also be drawing very deep in terms of your pockets, trying to help other people. I felt there was a real sense of purpose about this relationship, that it's like a combined power. For me, it's kind of has a double bang, like there's a lot in this when you come together. I feel there's a real force that will actually really happen, because I feel that you are a very emotionally mature and responsible person who's looking for an authentic individual, a very genuine individual to really meet you at a level where you can just be real. And this is definitely the person to kind of meet you at that level. Very charismatic individual who stands out in the crowd. I thought that they were very well liked lots of people are very drawn to this individual because they have an authentic self that really is about making a difference. They have a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, and they are very sharp. And they're also very good at communicating to other people in a way that really helps them to move forward, you know. So I kind of felt that this is somebody who was very well connected in terms of friendships. So really, a really big circle of, or circles of friends. And there's a compensation there for that, because I don't feel this person's had the family that gave them the supports that they needed. And so they're very much giving back to other people. And so people really respect this individual because, you know, they give a lot. And so they, in turn, they actually get quite a lot back. I felt that this person marched to the beat of their own drum, very individualistic. I felt very attractive in a way where their energy really stood out. But I felt that this was somebody who had major impact in terms of a visible look. You know, this is somebody who's going to look really different to everybody else. So when they walk into a room, it's like all eyes are on this person in a way where it sort of takes a while for everybody to kind of draw the focus away. And I think attractive as a consequence. The energy is attractive, you know, like there's something quite, yeah, again, charismatic. But this is a non-conformist. I felt that this person wasn't somebody who, there's nothing conservative about this person. This person is a liberator, is a progressive. They want to break boundaries in many ways. They've got strong boundaries, but they want to break boundaries, you know, break stereotypes, break down our way of understanding things. They really want to get to the heart of matters, especially on, you know, on issues around maybe abuse, maybe mental health as well, because, you know, they're very much in their mind and their process of what's happened to them in their past. But definitely a wheeler and dealer. I kind of felt that this is a very quick-minded person who you had to have your wits about you with this person, because they move fast, they think fast, they act fast. Definitely idolizes you. Once again, a journey of self-healing, and as a consequence, you know, I feel that this person is very emotionally sensitive, very spiritually sensitive. You know, a healer that has compassion for you, but also for humanity. I don't know that they're the greatest of communicators in a relationship, in the sense that possibly this is somebody who's quite withdrawn, you know, and I felt that getting away was really important for them. You know, like, I don't get an active sporty type in it, you know, at all. I get somebody who's more bookwormish on one level. And if they're going to get away and do something that's kind of sports-like, it would be on a fishing trip at a cabin in the middle of nowhere in the woods on their own. And I felt that that kind of experience would be very important for them, because there would be times where they would withdraw into themselves and feel the pain of the past, or feel the pain that they carried from their early life. And that they would need to ground that into nature in order to sort of transform that in a way that actually gave them an elevated understanding of what they needed to do to move forward and process that. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense to you. If it has, please feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. Now, if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.